My name is Tori, this is Novel Life. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my top 10 book girlfriends. So I recently did my top 10 book boyfriends, and that was really fun. It was very hard to narrow down to just to 10 books because my book boyfriends have changed over the years, you know what I mean? But my book girlfriends have also changed over the years because I've read numerous new books, and some of those have become all-time favorites, and I wanted to share them with you. Now, when I say book girlfriends, I would want to date them. I would want to be married to them, but I also would just love to sit down with them, woman to woman, and just talk. You know what I mean? They have all of these qualities that I absolutely love, but also I would just love to sit down and have a conversation with them, like in real life. So yeah, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, the first one is just going to be a chunker, and I'm going to get it out the way, and that is Manacled by SenLinYu. So yes, this book got picked up. It is now being published as Alchemized, and it is coming out in September. Will I be rereading that? Yes, absolutely, because I want to see and compare it to this masterpiece of a fanfic. I had a friend who bound this for me and gifted it to me, and it is huge. I will never actually read this. There's no way that I could actually ever physically read this, but it is honestly the coolest thing to have a bound copy of this. So yeah, I will treasure this literally for the rest of my life. But I say this because, well, this is Harry Potter fanfic, okay? Hermione in this book is not like the movies Hermione. I don't know. She just takes the character and elevates it so much, which I think why a lot of people love reading fanfic. But in this case, Hermione is strong and she is worthy and she's beautiful. She is the man, okay? Like, she is the woman. She is peak what I aspire to have, like, to just it to her core. I just wish I was like that, you know what I mean? If you've read this book, the end of this book really broke a lot of people, and it definitely made me extremely emotional because it's just how women are treated now in society, but also in this book is just, there's just some quotes I see on TikTok as I'm scrolling, and I will read it and I know exactly what it's from, and it will hit me in the gut, okay? Now, I'm being very vague, but this is a very dark, I would say, fanfic, but Hermione in this case goes through a lot of trauma at the beginning of the book, and you think like, oh, how is she gonna overcome this? And she does it so just in the perfect way, and I love it. Like, I admire the character in this book. Like, I admire the female character that she is in this book. Like, I want to state that very clearly, as I admire her for everything that she has done and everything that she handled everything with. I'm being very vague. Like, this is horrible. I'm doing a horrible job with this. Anyway, I love the female character in this. That's all I'm going to say. The next book I have is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I have read all of Elsie Silver's published books, okay? And, oh, I lied. I have not read her novella, which is, what is it called? Out of the Gate. That is the one book by her I have not read, okay? But this book, out of all of her heroines, I go through all of her heroines and I'm like, wow, which one do I relate to? And if that was the case, I relate to Skylar from Wild Eyes. I really relate to her from woman to woman. But if I'd want to date a woman, it would be Willa. Because in this book, she is caring, she is fierce, she is hold no bars, she is ultimately herself, and she does not give a fuck about that. She is so totally fine with who she is, what she's doing. She is so independent. I mean, yes, she does have some insecurities for sure, but the way that she rides or dies for Cade and his son in this book, listen to me, she will do anything to protect that kid, okay? Literally do anything. Someone hurts that kid, she is pushing them into a pool, okay? A man, woman, or child, okay? I just love her. I love her tenacity. I love her fierceness, and it was just really cool to read a heroine like this. A lot of romance books have heroines similar to this, but for some reason, this particular heroine just stuck out to me because she holds her own throughout the whole book. Like, she doesn't need a man, but Kay just conveniently fits into her life, and his son does too, and I love it. So that's another one where I was like, I had to think on it. That one took me a long time to go through my Elsie shelf and be like, which one did I really want to talk about? Now, the next one is Magnolia Parks. So this is going to be like a controversial one, okay? Because I was going between Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates, and I will say we have gotten most of Magnolia and BJ's story, but when you get certain backstory about a character, the reason why they do things makes sense. And yes, Magnolia is grace. She is beauty. She knows fashion. She is elegant. She is put together on the outside. She is imperfect, but she's also perfect, if that makes sense. So she is another character who is wholly herself, and no one makes her feel bad about that. And obviously the way that she and BJ handle their relationship is toxic and messy, and hands down literally the most chaotic romance I've probably ever read in my life. But at the core of that, Magnolia is just a girl. She is just a girl who is doing the best that she can with everything that she has gone through. And I love that. She's, like I said, perfectly imperfect in the way that she's just trying. She is doing her best and she is trying. And a lot of people judge her for that in the book and in the romance community. Like in the book community, people judge her, and that's totally fine. You can have your opinions, but I would just honestly love to sit down with her and talk with her. Do I really want her as like a book girlfriend? Like, I would want her as a friend because she rides or dies so hard for her friends. So much so that it's like at the detriment to herself, if that makes sense. But also, Daisy and her have a friendship in this book and this series that you learn about throughout all of the books. And I love that friendship, if that makes sense. Like, I love the development of that friendship. And I think that she would be an amazing friend to have. So yes, I would love to have her as a book girlfriend, as a girlfriend in my life. The next one I have, she is, okay, listen, this girl has been at the top of my book girlfriends list since I read this book. And that is Frankie from Always Only You, okay? I want to be Frankie when I grow up. And when I say that, I'm 30 years old, okay? I'm 30 years old, and I want to be Frankie when I grow up. She has RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and she's at a point in her life where she takes meds. She walks with a cane. She has to have certain shoes. She can't wear like nice and cool shoes and stuff like that. But when I tell you, she is wholly herself, and she's like, I'm not changing for anyone. This is my life, okay? I need to take bubble baths, and I need to soak in baths most of the time to help my hips and stuff like that. So be it. That's how it is. Now, our hero, he is perfect. Ren is so good to her, so amazing, but this is not about book girlfriends. This is not about book boyfriends. This is about book girlfriends. And I would love to just hang out with Frankie. I would love to hold her hand and stroll down the street and go shopping with her. Well, no, she hates shopping. I would love to sit on her couch and just hold her hand and talk to her because I want to be her when I grow up, and I would love to date her. Like, I do have a girl crush on her. Like, if she was a real person, I'd have a girl crush on her. I love how strong she is. I aspire to have the strongness that she has had in this book, if that makes sense, but also like just how she handles everything. Like, it's not perfect, but she handles it the way that Frankie handles it, and she just takes one day at a time, and I love that. I don't know. I love her. The next one I have is a very interesting one. So I have read all 3 books in this series, and I was going back and forth on which character I'd want as a book girlfriend in this series because I love them, okay? So it is The Darkest Corner of the Heart by Lucina Connie. This is not my favorite in this series. It's not my favorite in the series, but it is the female character that I, one, related most to, but also I love her story and her journey. So this is a forbidden romance. Our female character, Maddie, she's a ballet dancer. She gets hurt and injured, and now she has to see a physical therapist. That physical therapist is a dude. He's a little older than her, obviously. And they have a romance after she is treated. And I say that because when Maddie is injured, she had thought ballet was her whole life. She was like, I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to go far with this career. I'm going to do everything I can. She has devoted her life to being a ballet dancer. And it just stopped completely in her tracks. And basically the physical therapist says, I can make you better, but if you try to dance again, you may re-injure it to a point where you struggle to walk, basically. And that is so hard to hear because like she has been doing this whole thing in her life. Like, literally, this is the only thing that she wants in life. And it makes her stop and reassess of what is going on in her life, what she wants out of life, and where she's going. And that physical therapist, our hero, being there for her is such a pivotal moment. So the romance that comes after it is after this quiet bonding that they have, that she goes to her physical therapy appointments and he teaches her how to move and, you know, rehabilitate her ankle that, you know, kind of, it didn't break, but it was like fractured. So it's a very interesting romance. It's unlike anything that I've read, but the strength that Maddie has in this book to like carry her forward through all of that is so amazing. I don't know how, I'm very hard, descriptive words are not my forte, okay? But the way that she moves through life during this period during this time in her life is so beautiful and graceful and gracious, even though she doesn't give herself grace. She's very hard on herself, but to the outside, everyone's like, oh, she's got it handled. She really doesn't. And that's okay. And that's why I love it, because she is another perfectly imperfect character, that she is multifaceted, she is multi-layered, and I love it. I get very analytical with some of these characters. I apologize, but I do love Maddie. I see myself. I would love to sit down and talk to her and just give her a hug. But I also would love her as a book girlfriend, because I do love the way that she is. Another character is Tiernan from Credence. So I want to say, Tiernan's biggest fan. Okay, I love this book. I have 2 or 3 editions of Credence. A lot of people only see this book as the taboo book that it is. Our female character at the beginning of the book is 17. Tiernan, she goes to live with her step-uncle that she did not know existed, and that is Jake, Uncle Jake. He's a lot older than her, but he has 2 sons that are around her age, a little bit older than her, okay? She has a romance, I wouldn't say. She has a relationship with each of them individually. This is not why I choose, but at the beginning of the book, she does choose someone. I am of the mindset that she chose the one that is perfect for her, and I loved it, which is why I'm such a huge proponent for this book, and I love it so much, and I recommend it all the time. But Tiernan is a character that you see with the relationships that she has with each of these guys, Jake, Cade, and Noah, okay? You have to remember that she was a 17-year-old girl when she lost her parents by suicide. They died by suicide. One of their parents were sick. They take pills, so they both died together. They were wholly in love that they would not live on this earth without each other. They forgot, they didn't even think of her as a daughter. So that in of itself is traumatizing, right? So when she goes to this cabin that's in the woods, right? She is trying to find herself at 17. Like, can you imagine being 17 and going through the world that you did, but also not having your parents, or parents that you thought loved you, but they obviously didn't because they chose not to live over raising you and being there for you, you know what I mean? So she has a lot of trauma, and the relationship she builds with each one of these guys is teaching her to love herself again, to show her that she is worthy of receiving love and being loved and being enough for someone. Does that make sense? So it's she like builds a part of herself up with each of those like little moments that she has. And it's not always sexual. A lot of people only see it for the taboo kind of romance that it is. And I love that. I love that Penn Douglas wrote that in a way with a female character where she is that multifaceted. She is like a normal person. She has multiple layers and not everything makes sense. And she's a human being and she is complicated, but I love it. I love it so much. Wow, are we seeing a pattern with a lot of these book girlfriends? Okay, another one that might shock some people is Phantom by Greer Rivers. So I love this because our female character in this book has bipolar disorder. The author said that she wrote it as close to what she experiences as having bipolar disorder. And I love it, not only the hero, this is a darker romance. He kind of stalks her. It's a Phantom of the Opera retelling. She performs on stage. He kind of watches her, sends her roses, stuff like that. But what I love is that she is not only going through life with this disorder that can make her see things or make her think things that are not there, and she has manic episodes and she's trying to have this career and stuff like that, but she handles it in a way that I feel like any woman at the time would handle this, if that makes sense. Like, yes, she has friends, but this guy sees her and is like, I see you for just who you are. So like technically he could be a boyfriend too. But I love the woman she is in this book. I love the romance, obviously is amazing, but I love the woman that she becomes in this book, of how like she becomes okay with having bipolar disorder. Like she becomes okay with who she is, all of it. All of the manic, ups and downs and everything like that. And I really love that. I love that we have a character that is okay with everything that is going on with her life and every spectrum of person that she is, okay? The next one I have is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I want to give this character a hug. I love our female character in this book. She is a leader. She is leading this like secret kingdom after being hidden away by her uncle from her parents. Her father abused her and it took her dragons away, so now she knows that she has to ally with the kingdom to get those dragons back and take over her father's kingdom, okay? But what I love is that she has anxiety, okay? Like, obviously, growing up the way that she grew up, I'm not surprised that she has anxiety. But at the same time, the way that she handles it you know, she can have those moments where she panics. She can have moments of anxiety. But at the core of it, she is still a freaking princess. She is still a queen. She is still leading her people into this battle. And our hero recognizes that. And they are perfect for each other. They are so equal in the way that they battle, the way that they handle weapons and all of this stuff. It is absolute perfection. And I love that. And I love how strong she is. Like, I just see a part of myself in this character too. And I love her. I love her so much. Yeah. I have 2 more books, okay? You're probably going to guess what they are. Row from Unloved, okay? By Peyton Corinne. I recently read this book at the beginning of February, okay? And this is a romance between 2 people pleasers. 2 people pleasers who, one has some trauma. That's why he's a people pleaser. Freddie is the way that he is. He's had trauma. He's learned to cope in that way. But Ro comes from a family that loves her. She comes from a family that her mom and dad gave her everything, and they love, and, you know, they've cherished her and all this stuff. She doesn't, quote unquote, have trauma, okay? But she just wants to make sure everyone is happy all the time. And as someone who, as 16, 17, the way that she is at the beginning of this book as a freshman in college, I just want to give Ro a big hug because I was that girl, okay? I was that girl who was a people pleaser that would do everything for everyone else at the detriment of myself. And I met my husband and he was like, you got to get over that. You got to do what you want to do, honey. It's fine. So, I mean, not in those words, but you know what I mean? And I love that Freddie kind of like opens that up for her. And she, because of the fierce love that she has for Freddie, she goes outside and of herself and stops being that people pleaser. She has to do certain things. I'm trying to be vague so I don't want to spoil anything, but she has to do certain things for Freddie that steps her out of that comfort zone that makes her not so much a people pleaser anymore. And I love Ro. I love Freddie. I love their romance. This book is one of my favorite books of all time, but I love Ro. She is ride or die for Freddie. She's ride or die for Sadie, who's Unsteady as the first book. That is recent Sadie, but she is ride or die for Sadie. And I love that. This girl is a gem. This girl is a gem. And I would love to have her as a best friend in my life, okay? Now, the last book. You guys are not going to be surprised. I saved it for last on purpose. Aoife from Saving and Redeeming 6, okay? Listen to me. Listen to me. She is the ultimate book girlfriend. She is the woman I want to be to my partner. The way that she is ride or die for Joey and his siblings, Listen, their story spans years, 10 plus years, okay, throughout the books. And she is there through thick and thin. She is there through the addiction, through the ups and downs, through him being high, through him crying, to him being, you know, borderline, having suicidal ideations, I guess you could say. She is there through everything. When he has to go to rehab, she is still there through everything. And her devotion never wavers. Never wavers, and I love that. I love, it's not to the detriment of herself. She knows her worth. She knows that there is probably someone out there that doesn't have all this baggage, but she loves Joey for him. And she's gonna do everything that she can to protect that. It is so good. Oh, I love these books. I tell you, I love Joey and Aoife so much. They are my children. They are my babies. I love them so much. I wish I can explain it better than that, but if you've read these books, you know Aoife is amazing. She literally will throw hands for you, okay? She will throw hands. I love her so much. I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. So those are my top 10 book girlfriends that I have to share with you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really dive into a lot, okay? I love certain characters with my whole heart. I read a lot of books, but there are a lot of characters that really stick with me, but these are just 10 women that stick with me that I think about and I love. I idolize them. I want to be them. I think they're absolutely amazing. Some of them are perfectly imperfect. Some of them are perfectly perfect, and I do love them for that. So if you made it this far and you want to let me know, leave me the pink bell emoji in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.